Niphethwe yini?
Awuyamemeza insimbi yathume emadlebeni, awuyiyolehlanyisa umfana, iyoleba ngusathane. Yamemeza insimbi yathume emadlebeni, iyolehlanisa umfana, iyoleba ngusathane. Awuyamemeza insimbi yathume emadlebeni, iyolehlanisa umfana, iyoleba ngusathane. Awusamthatha usilile, awusamfake lutho, sathi mphatha Ramaphosa, uzusiphathe ngoxolo. Awusamthatha uBafalo, awusamfake ePitolibo, sathi mphatha Ramaphosa, uzusiphathe ngoxolo. Awuyamemeza insimbi yathume emadlebeni, awuyiyolehlanyisa umfana, iyoleba ngusathane. Usuku lwami namhlanje lwabasebenzi baseNingizimu Afrika ngaphansi kweCosatu nangaphansi komthunzi welanga, bonke abasebenzi usuku lwabo nesonto labo leli namhlanje. Ningahlali nje phansi. Ngeke ngizizwe nje ngani. Manyanani basebenzi, manyanani basebenzi, oh manyanani basebenzi, manyanani basebenzi, oh sesithi khona lenhlangano, sesithi khona lenhlangano, sesithi khona lenhlangano, sebeshi khona lenhlangano. Hlanganani basebenzi, hlanganani basebenzi, hlanganani basebenzi, hlanganani basebenzi, oh awusesithi khona lenhlangano, awuyikhosathi, sesithi khona lenhlangano, ayikhosa, oh sesithi khona lenhlangano, sesithi khona lenhlangano. Ngoba thina sobabamba, ngoba thina sobabamba, Sobaba, Sobaba, Uyashisa nomzalazo. Obathina Sobaba, Obathina Sobaba, Awu Sobaba, Sobaba. Cosatu, iyashisa, uyananazela, awuyashisa nomzabalazo. Mandla.
Thank you very much, Comrade First Deputy President, Comrade Chocho James, the National Office Bearers of the Federation, members of the Central Executive Committee, the leaders of Cosatu from the provinces, the locals of Cosatu, the delegation of the African National Congress is led by President Cyril Matomela Ramaphosa. I want to appreciate that sitting in front of me, you all have not noticed, there is a full
delegation of the African National Congress. The whole of the top 6 and the NEC members who are here and members of the cabinet. The leadership of the South African Communist Party led by the Bengakamboni Mtengentonga, ukhona Mtengentonga. At the moment led by the first Deputy General Secretary, Comrade Solima Paila. They are here also in their full delegation. The leadership of Sanko, led by Comrade Richard Mtagane. SASCO leadership, if they are here. Yes, that one. The leadership of COSAS, our international guests. Thanks. As I touch on those international guests, quickly mention that because we appreciate the work we do at an international level, we recognize the leadership of ITUC, not sure that they've arrived there, the leadership of the World Federation of Trade Unions, I can see now, the General Secretary, Comrade George Mavrikos. I'm trying to check whether Comrade Sharon Barron is here. Yes. The leader, the General Secretary of ITUC. I must mention, Comrade President, whilst on the greetings, particularly at the international guest level, the Federation has recently consciously started to do work with Venezuela, where we're working with the ambassador of Venezuela here on a range of projects, including our attempt to try and ensure that we can cooperate and work together to expose Cosatu into the continent, but also to the world on a continuous, non-distorted manner. That work is far in advance. You will be noticing here in the media houses that are here that there is one other outlet called Teleshow. We're working with them. There is a particular purpose here that the politics of the left has been distorted, particularly when it comes to other countries outside, and therefore the issues of Cosatu have been in the same way distorted. We're working with Venezuela on that program. Kuze naziwe kahle yonke indawo ngoba khona abanikhuluma kabi kwezinye indawo. We are also at an advanced stage to work with the Cuban embassy, and I'm sure the ambassador is here again. In particular, to strengthen the Mandela Fidel Castro program on the Cuban doctors and South African doctors going to Cuba for training programs. As the Federation, we have consciously taken that decision. But lastly, in that score, Comrade Chair, we're working with the Russians also. We've had a few meetings with the Russian ambassador. And again, a lot of things will be developing, coming out there, particularly to strengthen the hold of the Federation in those countries, one, working with trade unions in those countries, but also to ensure that we can assist each other. If you go outside here, and I would challenge Central Executive Committee members and all the leaders who are interested, there is a community clinic outside here, a big infrastructure that has been put here to assist all of us in case we get sick whilst we are here. Fully fitted clinic that will be assisting us. It is the beginning of the work Cosatu doing practically, where we must have such things in the work that how Dinosa you are doing in ensuring that this task of primary health care is realized in a more practical way. How do we work to ensure that such things are indeed a reality? Simakhuluma nge-NHI sithi siyabona ukuthi nakho kumele makwenzeke. So I would challenge all of you to have time and go around to the exhibition center to see what is happening here through those cooperation. The list is ending. Just on the greetings, it's my week here today. Yabona mawuhamba uthi bye-bye. Allow people to allow you to say bye-bye. President of the African National Congress, this year marks 37 years since the first reported cases of HIV and the attempts that were started to be made to have an effective AIDS program. And I'll come to this point just shortly because I would be amiss if I don't acknowledge just 3 more people or levels of people. The former leaders of Cosatu and Cosatu unions who are here, who have graced this occasion, we appreciate your presence. Because you are not like others. Abasibhalela amabhuku, bakhulume nathi ngama open letter. You are always with us here. The faith-based leaders or faith-based or religious grouping when mina ngispecific, ngikhuluma nabafundisi abakhulekela le Cosatu every day. They are here. I acknowledge them. But most of all, I do acknowledge my wife, Mashes. You have been a pillar of support, strength all the time. Nabantwana bethu, they were sending us messages today to say all the best. So I thank you very much for your prayers all the time. I was saying, President, the past 37 years are today being marked since we first recorded as a country the first cases of HIV and AIDS. Today, South Africa has over 7.1 million people living with HIV, and with the biggest treatment program of more than 3.7 million on the life-saving treatment, the ARVs. Thanks to the ANC, by the way, for that. The current reality is that we have 270,000 new HIV infections as we speak, 450,000 new TB infections, but we also have over 2,000 new infections per week amongst adolescent girls and young women of the ages 15 to 24 years. These kids, abantwana bethu, are not infecting themselves. They are infected by men, old men, with HIV and AIDS. Linked to this is the intensification of the abuse of the lesbian, gays, and bisexual, and transgender and intersex people. They experience high level of discrimination at work, and while others are denied job opportunities. Cosatu, I'm sure in your discussion, you will see that we are challenged to discuss this matter so that we are able to respond in a proper way. I would like to express our sincere thanks to members of the Central Executive Committee, and I'm doing this on behalf of the National Office Bearers, President, for their continuous support on the work that you have been given as Congress in the last Congress and in the previous Congresses. The Central Executive Committee deals with very difficult issues and have always supported the National Office Bearers at all material times. I want to thank you, bafowethu, ngaleyo ndaba. The leadership of the ANC, Comrade President, Comrade SG, and the leadership collective as a whole of the ANC, as National Office Bearers and Cosatu in particular, we thank you for you have been standing with us through thick and thin, and you are still with us here. We appreciate that. At an equal space, Comrade Soli, the SACP. Thank you for the support at all times, comrades. But I would be amiss if I don't thank the Cosatu workers in South Africa and these delegates who are here. You know, when Sakau stands up, and I'm not dealing with the content, but I'm picking the issue raised of when matters were hot here, others could have simply walked away. But because you all had to speak amongst yourself and say, no matter what happens and what has happened, but we want to remain within our Cosatu, a united Cosatu. Today, we are able to stand in front of you here. All of you. So I thank Cosatu workers in South Africa and yourselves as delegates. You have indeed worked very well to keep this Cosatu together. I'm going to come to that space quite shortly. Since 2015, the Special National Congress of Cosatu and the 12th National Congress, the Federation had been involved in relentless wars against our class adversaries and our detractors. The war continues, comrades. Sometimes niyalala nina. Ngathi ngelinye ilanga nifana nesilwane okuthiwa intibana. Macingwa intibana uyayazi ingulube ehlathi. Uma ijahwa izinja inespeed kakhulu igijima isithele ngale bese ithi hayi sezisela izinja kanti iyona ezishiyile bese ilibala ukudla utshani zifike futhi izinja. Ningabi njalo Cosatu. Don't be like that. Our battles are ever continuing, open or covert. The onslaught against the working class continues. You do not have luxury for other petty things to do and forgetting that you are fighting the bigger battle. Ngiyanicela. So in 2015, we were going through that period, and I'm simply saying as a warning, never make a mistake of thinking that the reasons for those battles then are different from today or they have changed to today. They're still there. The onslaught to weaken Cosatu and have a weaker federation so that you can attack the ANC, you can attack the SACP, because abasebenzi bona bavikile la badoba umqobovu ngazo zonke lezi inhlangano. So to kill that, you needed to attack Cosatu, and to do that, you needed to start with the National Union of the Mine Workers. Sanchela. The rationale and the reasons for that are still there. Don't forget that. That's all I'm saying. From the 12th National Congress, you start up as Cosatu, showing a force of strength of the Federation. I remember government was coming up with a policy on preservation of the retirement funds. Okay, Antol. President. This Congress said no ways, not our monies without us and decisions taken. You reversed the process back to Parliament and you said this must be resolved. Iphi namhlanje. Abona ke nina ngale ngemuva insizwa nezintombi zithi lapha phambi kwami. Ngoba ayikakalungiswa leyo nkinga. Ngiyadlula. Isikhathi luchaba. You also stood to raise the issue around the national minimum wage. You should not be ashamed to stand up today and say, congratulations to yourself, patting yourselves at the back. South Africa is counting just a few days now. South Africa will have a legislated national minimum wage to cover not Sina Slezila. It's not for us. Those who are excluded, whose salary are way below the mark that the national minimum wage is setting. Uma uncede umsebenzi ohluphekayo phansi, wena ube uthi nokho ayisekungconywana, wenze into enhle to contribute to feed those families. The national minimum wage is not a panacea. It does not solve all the problem, but it's a very critical floor from which or below which no employer in this country must pay workers in this country. Inina lapho. There are many things you did in this period, but I've got to rush through. One of those is the transformation on the UIF. Today we can report to you in details later on, General Secretary, and say the period to claim for UIF has been extended from 6 months to 12 months. It covers even pregnant women who can claim during the period of being on maternity leave. But it also even covers those women who have an unfortunate situation of a miscarriage during pregnancy. They are treated as if they are still carrying the baby. They can claim from the UIF. All what Cosatu needs to do is to ensure and check whether those things are happening. Again, thanks ANC, government. Comrades, my point here is, with all the challenges we're going through, because the list is endless of what successes would have happened in this period we are reviewing, we are still a force to reckon with. If abanye abantu who do not favor you or like you don't tell you, you better please yourself, tell yourself you are doing the right thing and strengthen your organization so that you will do more for the workers of this country. We have just come from the ANC's 54th National Conference, which the outcomes of which Cosatu said we are happy, we embrace them. The resolutions emerging there, we are happy. The leadership emerging there, we are happy. And we trust that that leadership indeed is going to go with us forward. Sayibiza ngamagama amaningi. Ngoba uRamaphosa unenhliziyo enhle ufisela abantu into ezinhle. What no, comrades, it's a new dawn. It's a new deal. Manje uthi thuma mina. Icosatu ke kumele ifike lapho ke ithi let's discuss the content so that we give more meaning to this and encourage that thing. So you have a role in that space to support those issues. Ningathi i-new dawn nje kuphela igcina lapha, cha, ifakeni i-content manje ibona ngathi element yabasebenzi ngathi yasilela because niyathuka manje hawu kwathi sesithi new dawn nansi VAT inyuka kwenze njani, sathi new dawn nanka ama-IPPs are being signed kwenze njani, new dawn naku kuthiwa kungahle ku retrench kubasebenzi kuhulumeni, new dawn but naku kuthiwa manje na ama ratings agencies asiphethe kwathiwa new dawn kwathiwa naku yanaka ama retrenchments emayini kanti kwenze njani. Kwenze njani? Yabona ke ma comrade uma ninanilele Cosatu nilibele ukulwa nodwa zawkwenzeka izinto niloko nithi unyuku petrol nithi anyuka ama interest rate nithi awukwenze njani, ingenzeki i-nationalization ye-Reserve Bank nithi umhlaba ungabuyi, niyawusola bani Mina angiwusoli ANC ngiyoblame iCosatu ngithi iyayalala at some point iCosatu. Nginigxeke kahle ngisihlalele lapha ekhaya eThekwini. Ningeke futhi nithi niza lapha ekhaya ngivale ngesango akungeni umuntu. Into engishoyo lamaqabane ukuthi yabona iplight yabasebenzi is at a level now where the battle is open. It's not hidden at this moment. It is open. Big business and that what's it? Sawubona. Big business is so confident in South Africa today because they stay wherever they stay and hear noises outside. Bezwe iCosatu ilwa yodwa and hear ANC ilwa yodwa and amakomanisi ungezwa noma thi siyale noma siyale bese ibusiness bese ithi hayi kusho ukuthi seyisikhathi sethu manje. Bafika lapha eCosatu. They came to Cosatu House, but hi, we are here Cosatu because we are happy that you people now are with us now, taken the decisions we have taken. Talk to us, what give you everything. Sati noche. When workers are suffering in mines, we may have issues within the alliance, but we are not going to use your money to solve our own problems. Go and transform the mining sector. Go and take care of the agriculture, the workers in the agricultural farms. Go and ensure that workers are paid decent salaries. Go packing outside Cosatu. Sabaxosha. My point is, the way they've become so confident, they think Cosatu ilele. So nine challenge la kule Congress. Avela. Ngikufunile ngaqalaza bengaboni kukhona la. President, if we forget what we are about, comrades, sometimes I feel you do forget. Challenge me here when we debate and say, "Hi, President, asikhohliwe ukuthi ubani." I would be happy at the end of this Congress to go out, having been proven wrong by all of you, to say no, iCosatu yona iyashaya kubaqashi. Hawu uyalalela ngapha uhulumeni talks from both sides of their mouth. Siya retrench, highest retrench public service. Siya retrench, highest retrench. Cha, ayibekwe indaba etafuleni sikhuluma into ekhona esiyibona. Manithi niya retrench sitsheleni sidile naleyo issue. That's the issue. Let's deal with it. So asingathi ngoba kufa thina ithina esifayo. Comrade Satu member, a teacher at Northwest, ubulawe ngumntwana. A teacher died with a chalk in his hand to teach that kid, and the kid kills the teacher. Konakeleni. Workers who are firefighters fall from a building and die and get burnt whilst they are trying to help them to extinguish fires in a building that does not have water. Kwenze njani, comrades? Sonke la siphelele manje. Yabona ialliance lephethele lizwe yithina la. Ithina bona makuthiwa ke president Jobo uyayisho ukuthi ngikuvumele, we are the governing alliance. The practicality of that is that it has got to be seen in action, where we are there at all times. Workers can't keep on crying when we are a governing alliance. Communication Workers Union, we're dealing with very critical issues because MTN, are retrenched, SABC, are retrenched. Abasebenzi babesebenza lapha bekuphethe khona uJimmy Manyi abazi nokuthi banomsebenzi noma banamsebenzi today. It's us. Asizinuke namakhwapha ma comrade and say how we gonna deal with these problems. Angiyabathanda ongqongqoshe bami lapha kwezokuxhumana nampa baphelele lapha mkwami. Laba basebenzi akade beqashwe yilaba bamaGupta fanele babuyele emsebenzini ukuthi ikuphi la khona. No, they cannot be a victim of a situation. Imsebenzi yona iyahamba. We are the governing alliance. Kwenzenjani bafowethu? Sengizawuqeda ngoba kungashona ilanga. Ziningi lezi zinto kakhulu. Ngisho lokho ukuthi zonke lezi inkinga ezikhona zifuna thina sibambisane. Date Governmental. Iyahlehla noma iyangena iMPRDA noma imining charter. Kwenzakala nje. Angimbona uBhungane. Sikweletana umhlangano ke noBhungane siyodiscussa le ndaba ama IPPs. Sengize ngiyoba ngisekho, senosale nibona nini enobe nikhona. But the issue there is how do we advance a just transition from the situation you don't want to have to a new situation you want to go to? That's the issue. Why do people run away from that debate? We're not asking for many things. Because the reason we're raising these things, we simply are trying to save our jobs and get more people employed. Why running away from the debate? Angisasho kona Mantashe ngiyazi wena vele uyifuna idebate ufuna ngisho ebusuku uthi ufuna umhlangano. Uthi uyeza ngenkani. Hayi sesilele Mantashe. Hayi ngiyeza ngizohlangana sikhuluma inkinga zaseyimayini. Uthi wayinjani lo muntu lona? The issue though we are making is that if we don't talk, comrades, we will be seen as people who are simply not agreeing on issues that are easily solved when people meet and solve those issues. So ke mangithi ke President siphathe ngoxolo sikuthathile sathi angisho ukuthi iCosatu yavota kwavota ama members ANC conference. All were saying ukuthi hayi njoba seniphethe sizobambisana nani siphathane ngoxolo kudilo nezinkinga zingagwenywa. We must discuss issues. Cosatu ngincomile okuningi okuhle nikwenzile. But if you continue under the current state of affairs of our federation, I guarantee you it's going to be hard on the workers in this country, because once there is no Cosatu, it will be like God has taken oxygen away from the country. And when mina ngatrainwa ke kwezempilo, if I choke you for 4 minutes without you breathing, uqala ube lihlaza la ebusweni, ulimi libe lihlaza, ngiqhubeke ngikubamba ungawuthola uma uvela ufe, awuvuki futhi. Let us take heed of the challenges confronting us. These are the challenges confronting us which are not necessary, and they cause a problem for workers. Members pay subscriptions on a monthly basis to the unions, the Cosatu. On a monthly basis, they pay because we deduct, employers help to deduct. Yini ebamba ukuthi nina ma-leaders nithathe i-portion nje encane, Brataika, I don't know, malini, 2 rand, member ne-member, koka malini? 3 rands from a member every month iswe Cosatu. Out of u-80 rand, mina ke u-80 rand ezola imali engiyikhokha lapha eNehawu. Kuthathwe nje 2 rand kuphela kuthiwa uye Cosatu. Inkokheli zivele zilokho. Ngiyafisa mina ukuzwa niqbe yinini where Jews to Cosatu to get Cosatu running campaigns and all the activities of the federation running smoothly because Cosatu is self-sustainable. We don't do that purely because affiliates, leaders don't pay subs to Cosatu. Why? Akuyona yenu le mali. Imali yeyimember ngisho ngoba iphuma la kimi nami yami ephaketheni lami. Kwenziwa yini baholi? Nibange nilwe and fight over some initiatives that some of you were not even there when they were created, the investment companies of our unions. You are not there. If people who are there can stand up to again velen mhlawumbe abaningi babo uyobathole eParliament ubathole lena le abasekho eCosatu akusekho umuntu owaye initiative seyithina esisele sibhizi sihliphiza lento eyakhelwa abasebenzi sibanga ama resources ama union. Why are we fighting over the resources of workers? Why? Isolveni ikhuluma ifanele le iphele namhlanje. This Congress must never discuss that matter because it would have been closed completely today. 3, why are we endowed from Cosatu House in Braamfontein with queues of members coming from the different unions? But I, I've been fired. But I've been to the office of the union president. They are not helping me. Nibe nikhona bafowethu. Organizers nikuphi? Shop stewards. Nina ningabuza kwethuke. Ukufa kweCosatu kuyobe kwenziwe yini ma shop steward as eCosatu eSouth Africa? Ngoba nani seniyagriswa izandla. Maniyomela abasebenzi niphatha iCV la. Abasebenzi basale eminyango ungene eCCMA uhlangane necommissioner uphume ngalo yamnyango umsebenzi asale yedwa lapha kungasekho umuntu omsizayo. Angikhulumi inganekwane. Ayikhulunywe leyo nto here isolvwe. The last area I want to touch, ANC-led alliance. Sibangani, what are we fighting ourselves about? Is it because we feel we are not treating each other equally with respect? It's simple to treat each other equally, treat each other with respect, if that is the issue. Is it about the preference of leadership? Cosatu, okay, I guess it's kulungile. Cosatu, you can decide on who leads the ANC. So, Cosatu, can you also want the ANC to decide on who must lead you? And those are simple issues. But they've caused us to fight amongst ourselves. Can we fight over a resolution of the SACP, which goes to its own Congress and take a decision It's an SACP decision. All what it has to do, it will have to try to influence other alliance partners of its own decision and accept that could be rejected or it could be engaged or agreed to. Why should we fight over those things? Ukube nginelungelo ngabe ngithi awuzophendula lo mbuzo Tate Mantashe ngoba ngiyakhumbula ngelinye ilanga you've dealt with those questions. My point is, some of the issues that have made us to fight and throttle each other almost to extinction are issues that could have been dealt with simply. We are a collective of the leadership that is running this country. If niyayikhohlwa leyo nto, nonke nje bafowethu, we all have to step up to that responsibility and close the smaller issues that are dividing us. Singabangi izinto ezingekho. Ngiyani-challenge, azikho kwangempela futhi. Lezi nizibangayo nonke azikho ngoba izinto ngabe niyahlala nizisolve ezilunge kudlulele kuye phambili ni-unite because there is no replacement for unity of our organizations in this country. There's nothing that you can put up to replace the unity that we require. When wawuthi ke ngelinye ilanga umhlala emhlanganweni we-ANC kunobani ngapha ewindini kunobani Mantashe ngisakhumbula kodwa ireality ukuthi kunabantu ababanga imsindo la emadlebeni ethu emaceleni outside us who are salivating thinking that the ANC can really fall. Hayi asiyivikele ingawe amakomanisi asiwavikele ame njalo ngoba asilutho ngaphandle kwamakomanisi as workers in this country. Let's strengthen each other. Cosatu nayo cannot survive without these allies at the moment. I want to argue that thing. If you're saying Stuma or wrong, then put something as an alternative here. Then ngiyawulalela si engage about that. Sengigcina. Umthetho wami nje angifuni ukuba nama spokesperson. Abantu abangikhulumelayo. Abantu abakhulumela iCosatu. Munye nje umuntu kuphela ngamnikeza ilungelo kanye sekubhedile ngathi wemaluleko awukhulume nawe mfowethu uyayazi le ndaba. Abanye nabanye abangikhulumelayo hayi angibathumanga. Niyangizwa? From all sides, akukho ngisho yedwa engimthumile mina Sidumo Dlamini ukuthi wena uzaba i-spokesperson sami kulolu daba. It's an issue that I sat down, thought about it for a long time. Actually, just after the Congress of Cosatu in 2015. Having in mind and at the center what Cosatu was coming from and where we were saying Cosatu must go. Seeing everything that was happening, I had one simple wish. If coming to the next Congress of Cosatu, we can achieve a smooth transition of leadership. If that can help to revive Cosatu and be stronger Cosatu, if it has to be me, I will ask not to be available at the 13th National Congress for leadership. You deal with the issues internally. Speak to leaders and put up your rationale and your thoughts, putting the organization at the center. I did all that. Spoke as far back as 2016, as Maluleka was telling you at some point, that in order for the federation to manage this period, and this period is not about tensions, Cosatu is stabilizing it. It's not about leadership. This period is about the attack, it's about the life of Cosatu going through and the need for an organizational renewal going forward. If that can be achieved, I'm not going to sacrifice other leaders, let it be me and say, can Cosatu afford to discuss this matter, not from the basis of the incumbent refusing or saying he does not want to leave the position? Can delegates and Cosatu in general discuss this matter informed by other reasons, not the reason of hey, lo muntu akasafuna ukuphuma sibathe siyamjijimeza sithi akaphuma uloku yagoloza akaphuma. So I declare, I say that here, and I've told my leaders that that is the decision that came to me consciously. No one forced it to me, and I communicated it quietly with the leaders that were managing the process. Uma senisuka seniye emaphepheni niyaphi? Ngingiphoxelana ngoba ngihamba nginithanda. Build this Cosatu. If anyone was to say the president of Cosatu, Dumo Dlamini, at least for the whatever you could still scrap and find out of the good that he would have been as a leader in this country, use it and say, we are going to unite this federation and we'll move forward, we'll deal with the issues, but we are not going to fight and make the Congress to be a center of attention purely on the basis whether Stumo is staying or not. No. Ningaxakeka neyinkinga zenu. Count me out on that one. Nixoxe indaba ye-leadership kahle, kungabi into elwelwayo eCosatu. We have gone past that stage. We're at this stage now where we must move up. Siphakamise le nhlangano yabasebenzi. I'm very grateful to all the workers in South Africa under Cosatu and in general. I'm very grateful for the leaders that I've worked with, all of you, both historical and otherwise. Wawungathini ucabanga ubuka umuntu onje yamuthe kwasebenza nabantu abanjengozokwane, no Slovo Majola, no Gwede Mantashe in Cosatu. Ngimncane. I'm very much grateful to all of them in the ANC, in the South African Communist Party, who have always supported my work as the president of Cosatu in South Africa. And I say thank you with no reservation. So ke ngiyayivula le nkongolo ngokusemthethweni. Angiyanga ku-international, angiyanga lena le, but I think if you take the little I've said here, use it properly, it's going to add value to this federation and the Congress movement as a whole, taking us all out of the quagmire of being seen as the alliance that is ever fighting amongst themselves. I thank you very much. The Congress is opened.
Thank you very much, comrades. Let me also thank the president of Cosatu for this wonderful speech he has given to all of us. Having said that, though, Comrade President, I want also to invite you to introduce the next speaker, which I can't do in terms of protocol. It must be you. I have heard you saying you are paying 80 rand to Nehau.
Yeah.
I'm paying
Inkulu i-Mine Workers Union.
I'm paying 1% of my basic salary to NUM. I've beaten you.
Yayibulala imali le ndoda. Yayibona? Yayibulala imali le ndoda. You heard what the Deputy President said. And I'm saying this so that Congress takes note of it. He could have decided, and he would have corrected him, to say he's going to call the treasurer to introduce the president of the ANC. Would have said, you are wrong, President. If he would have called the general secretary to do that in my presence, you would have corrected him and said, you are wrong, President. The duty of the president, linked to what we just saying, is that the president of Cosatu shall always, not because we are undermining the collective, shall have a direct working relationship with the president of the ANC, the general secretary of the SACP, the president of SANCO. Sifakana nje esikoleni esincane. It does not mean that is equal to friendship between those people. Nyangizwa? It is the work we do. It does not mean that as we work together, as the new president that will emerge on Thursday will be working together with this president, it will not be selling out. It will be leaders working to deal with organizational issues. I want to stand here and invite, after this introduction, the leader of the African National Congress, who is also the President of the Republic, who has emerged from the ANC's 54th National Conference in 2017 to lead the most powerful National Executive Committee of the ANC. As Cosatu, we indeed respect him because he has emerged also from our ranks as a leader of the National Union of Mine Workers. He was General Secretary. We had to release him, for we were satisfied with his role, because at Cosatu he worked with the leadership corps and led the unification process and the birth of our federation, Cosatu. He went out to be the SG of the ANC. We believe that he did that job, and members of the ANC also, I'm sure, understand, they would agree that he did that job very well. He's been part of the forming of the Constitution, or drafting or writing of the Constitution of this Republic. A businessman, twage uresignile emabhizinisini akho wonke. Sayiphenya mleyo ndaba ngiyiphenya uthi awu umthetho nje waseParliament. But he's a businessman of note in the country, still respected in the ranks of business with his acumen and his ability, but had to leave that to be accepting the responsibility of being both the Deputy President of the Republic then and the President of the Republic currently. Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa has been with us through difficult times of our federation to work to unite Cosatu. He starkly reminds us of the founding principles of Cosatu, as you know them, that without that we would have lost a clue that unites Cosatu if we lose those founding principles of our federation. Comrade Cyril, I know the list could be endless. I want to invite you to come and address the workers in Cosatu.
Viva Cosatu, viva! Viva SACP, viva! Viva Sanko, viva! Viva African National Congress, viva! Long live the spirit of Nelson Mandela, long live! Long live the spirit of Mama Albertina Sisulu, long live! Amandla! Long live the spirit of Elijah Bahai, long live! Long live the spirit of Comrade Gomomo, long live! Long live the spirit of Comrade Chris Dlamini, long live! Mandla! Comrades, I thank you for this opportunity. Comrade President Stu Dlamini, President of Cosatu, General Secretary Begi Njalinjali, the National Office Bearers of the Congress of South African Trade Unions, and members of Cosatu's Central Executive Committee, and the leadership of all the affiliated unions to Cosatu. I also extend my greetings to the General Secretary of the South African Communist Party and other leaders of the SACP, the leadership of the African National Congress is here in its biggest number, led by the Deputy President, the Secretary General, the Deputy Secretary General, the National Chairperson, and the Treasurer General, and members of the National Executive Committee. If you ever wanted a decision from the National Working Committee of the ANC, it can be taken now. They are all here. Distinguished guests and leaders and delegates from various associations and organizations and trade unions internationally, and comrades and delegates. Comrades, it gives me pleasure to extend revolutionary greetings from the leadership and membership of the African National Congress to this, the 13th National Congress of the Congress of South African Trade Unions. You have survived to hold your 13th Congress. You can give yourself a great round of applause for that. It is indeed an honor to be here. Exactly 9 months ago, but maybe before I even start, as I was coming in, I walked past the delegation of Nehau. They immediately recognized that I am wearing a leather lumber jacket with a Nehau logo. They got very excited. Let me say that underneath, I am wearing a Cosatu t-shirt. But underneath, I am wearing an ANC vest. But let me say, because today is Monday, on Monday I usually wear a Nehau lumber jacket. On Tuesday, I wear a Dinosa one. On Wednesday, I wear NUM. On Thursday, I wear Pop Crew. So throughout, I keep changing. So I want the Nehau comrades to know that it's a Monday wear. And on other days, I wear the clothing from other unions. So that's why all the unions in Cosatu are very special to me as well. Comrades, exactly 9 months ago, the ANC held its 54th National Conference in Johannesburg at Nasrec. In many ways, That conference was what you would call a watershed conference, where the movement acknowledged that its unity, its integrity, its capacity and credibility had been severely eroded over several years. The then Secretary General's report was quite expansive about the many challenges that our movement was facing. The ANC was brutally honest, as it always is, brutally direct and straightforward, and said that the conference said that it needed to address all those challenges. And the 54th conference then took clear, revolutionary and unequivocal decisions to stop the decline of our movement and to take bold steps to build unity, to renew the movement, and to reposition the African National Congress for the tasks that lie ahead. As a trusted and consistent ally, Cosatu made a valuable contribution to the success of the conference, understanding that only a united and effective and progressive ANC can serve the interests of the workers and all the people of our country. The aftermath of the conference ushered in a new mood of optimism throughout the country as people from all walks of life renewed their hope in the African National Congress. We've been working together since then to reaffirm the ANC as a true representative of the aspirations of our people, capable of fundamentally transforming their lives for the better. In working together, we have found that a number of initiatives are initiatives that our people are responding positively to in this new period that we are in, including the Tumamina campaign, which has captivated the attention of the majority of our people. Our structures are using this campaign to speed up service delivery in our communities. They are using this campaign to reconnect with our communities and to listen and address the challenges and the problems that our people are facing. It has become quite an effective campaign, and we are particularly pleased that Cosatu members and Cosatu structures have also taken to this campaign and are also utilizing it to also help in addressing the challenges that our people face in various communities. And we say thank you for that. As we make all these efforts of working together to address unemployment, poverty and inequality, we are having to do so, comrades, under very difficult economic conditions. We are all aware that the economic challenges that our country faces have their roots in the structure of our economy. Millions of our people are excluded from meaningful participation in the economy for a whole number of reasons. And some of those have to do with lack of skills, opportunities, access, lack of finance, lack of various important assets, some of which have to do with land or lack of access to land. Most people live far from economic centers and other amenities, increasing the cost of living and lowering their own quality of life. Our economy, as we all know, comrades, is far too dependent on the export of primary goods like minerals and agricultural products, which means that we are not extracting the full economic value of our mineral resources and are missing out on creating millions of potential jobs that can be created if we were able to add value to the products that we just keep exporting out of the country. The work we are doing to address these structural problems are hampered by the turbulence in the global economy, where a trade war between the major economies is starting to have an impact on our own country, as well as various industries, leading to a number of jobs being shared. The exit of Britain from the EU is also likely to affect our own economy as well. Global oil prices have risen and the rand has weakened as concerns have grown about some other developing economies that are having to grapple with their own challenges that have to do with their own currencies and various other problems that they face. As a country, we are emerging from nearly a decade of poor economic performance. Public finances are under great strain, and our public debt has grown exponentially as well as dramatically. And servicing this public debt is bringing down quite a heavy burden on our own public finances. The effects of state capture have been felt across several state-owned enterprises and important public institutions as well. Due to a combination of these global and local factors, in recent months, unemployment has worsened, economic growth has slowed further, and the cost of living has increased for millions of our people. And it is the workers and the poor who are affected at increases in the price of fuel, in the price of food and other essentials. We are aware of the position adopted by our allies and indeed other formations on the issue of VAT and have heeded the call that we should see how we can best ameliorate the challenges our people are facing given the rise of VAT, which in many ways was unavoidable as we had to fund a new cost line, which is giving our young people and our children free education at a higher level. To ensure that VAT increase does not place an undue burden on the poor, government set up an independent panel of experts to review the current list of zero-rated VAT items. The panel submitted their report last month, as we all know, which recommended that a number of items be included in the basket of zero-rated goods. The Minister of Finance is currently considering the panel's recommendations, and the public comments that have been received are being considered at the moment. The decision on which items to zero rate will be included in our current or future tax legislation for consideration by Parliament. Working people, we know, are most vulnerable to job losses and efforts by employers to reduce costs. In our recent meeting with business, we called upon them not to be too hasty to retrench workers, particularly in these difficult economic conditions. We also said that they should, in these trying economic conditions, try everything they can to avoid retrenchments and, in a way, put a moratorium on retrenchments so that we can rise from these challenging economic conditions. And we have said that they should also consider retraining workers and find alternative pathways for them in the event of the inevitability of job losses. As the country has entered a technical recession, comrades, following the 2 quarters of negative growth, we are focusing our attention on how we can address the economic challenges that we face and come up with initiatives to save jobs and to create and improve investor confidence. These, comrades, are necessary steps and immediate responses that we would like to make to the current challenges that we face. We've taken the view that with the economic challenges that we face, given rise to by these 2 quarters of low growth or negative growth, government cannot sit by and not do anything. So we will be seeking then to focus attention on ensuring that we improve agriculture, focus on agriculture, and enable our people or our compatriots who are involved in agriculture, particularly emerging farmers, are able to get the support that they need, because agriculture has shown in the past to be a great job creator and to be a good contributor to the growth of our economy. So we'll be focusing on that. We'll also be focusing on the township economy, and we'll also be focusing on small and medium enterprises. With all these policy initiatives, as well as other measures that we will take, we're hoping that we should be able to re-crank the economy back into better activity. This builds on work, comrades, already underway and establishes a platform for sustainable and inclusive growth into the future. It is because of the urgency of addressing these challenges that as social partners, we are also finalizing another important initiative that you, as Cosatu, have called for, that we should have a job summit. A job summit where all the social partners will come to the fore and talk about how we are going to create jobs. Because the 54th Conference of the African National Congress focused largely on jobs and jobs and jobs. And this is part of the program that we are involved in to ensure that we create jobs. The summit, the job summit, will agree on concrete and specific interventions to drive job creation and to ensure also job retention. Because it is one thing to create jobs, but at the same time, we strongly believe that we should be able to retain that our people are involved in right at the moment. Under the auspices of NEDLAC, government, labor, business, and communities have been debating a range of proposals. Truth be told, comrades, there are some difficult discussions that we still need to have to ensure that the summit has a meaningful impact on unemployment, and that there is still much work to be done, but we are confident that when we do finally get to the job summit, we will be able to have good proposals. And this places a responsibility on Cosatu, and indeed on this Congress, to come up with proposals on how we can create jobs going forward. The trade union movement is expected to put clear proposals, effective proposals indeed, on how we can create jobs under these testing and trying economic moments that we are living under. So this Congress is being held at the most opportune time, where we are required to come up with really cutting-edge and clever proposals on how our economy can create jobs. And comrades, it is in this regard that we would like you, yes, as Cosatu, to come up with proposals on how we deal with the structure of our economy. As we have said, some of the challenges that we face have their origins and roots in the structure of our economy. We therefore want Cosatu to come up with clear proposals on how we move forward. If there ever was a time when Cosatu should come to the plate when Cosatu should come up with clear proposals, this is the time. Your hour has arrived, Cosatu. Put proposals on the table. On the issue of broader economic transformation, while our immediate efforts are focused on reviving the economy and increasing investment and preserving and creating jobs, we know that the overriding task we have is to, yes, fundamentally transform our economy and our society. As alliance partners, we are guided by the vision which our forebears set out in the Freedom Charter, that the people shall share in the wealth of our country. The equitable society within the broader ambit of the democratic society that we wish to create means that there should be decent work for all and that there should be radical economic transformation. The 54th National Conference of the ANC reaffirmed that what we are really striving for is an economy that is inclusive within the realms of a mixed economy, and with the state continuing to play a key role in the ownership of state-owned enterprises, enterprises that should drive economic growth and deliver a better life for our people. But we are also seeking the type of economy where there are cooperatives and other forms of social ownership as well as private capital. At the same time, we also need, comrades, a capable state which is developmental in its characteristics, which also plays a critical interventionist role in the economy and leads the country to development. A necessary condition for sustainable, inclusive growth is a significant increase in the level of investment in the economy from both the public as well as the private sector. And it is in this regard that we are seeking to raise 1.4 trillion rand to be invested in our economy, in various sectors of our economy in the next 5 years. We want to raise this amount of money so that we can have the capacity and capability to build factories, to build refineries, to build power plants, more mines and more smelters, and to put in place pipelines and data centers, and just increase the growth of our economy and the size of the economy. And this is now the time for us as social partners to give real meaningful attention to also increasing an area which we've been touching on briefly and leaving, an area of increased worker ownership in the enterprises that the workers work for. This I want to throw as a challenge to this Congress, that do look at the issue of worker ownership. And it should be an issue that you as workers drive, and it should not be driven by employers. But there's another aspect to this. Another aspect is, as unions, we need to get involved in the decision-making processes of the companies that we work for. I think we should forego the days when company directors who are not connected to the lives and the needs of workers decide on the direction, on the future of companies that you work for. We need to get involved, yes, on the shop floor, in the boardroom, on management structures of the companies that we work for. And I know in Cosatu there is a fear about getting involved in the decision-making of companies. And I accept, comrades, let's grow up. Let us get involved in the direction of our companies. Let us get involved in how those companies are run. As it is now, you've even set up trade union companies where some of your representatives get involved. What about getting involved in the companies that have an impact on the life work of workers that you represent? There is a growing consensus in society that we must take bold steps to end the economic exclusion of the majority of our people. Amongst others, is to try and address the one issue which has led to the exclusion of our people, and which is on land, the land of our forefathers and our foremothers. This is another area where we need to focus our attention on. The resolution of the 54th conference of the ANC decided that there should be expropriation of land without compensation, and this should take place without any fail. And it is going to happen because that is a decision of our conference. We want to utilize this as one of the comprehensive measures to accelerate land reform that will reduce poverty, that will strengthen the economy and increase agricultural output. And for those who think that this program of land reform means that we are going to give land to the elite, I want to make it very clear that our land reform program is not about giving land to the elite. It is about giving land to the ordinary people in our country, and not the chosen few. We also, as we address issues of the growth in our economy, need to address the issue of the glaring skills deficit. We are encouraged by the massive expansion of early childhood development, by the nearly universal access to basic education, and by the huge increase in university enrollment and colleges enrollment. These developments, taken together with an improvement in the quality and relevance of what is taught, will significantly reduce poverty and inequality in years to come. However, we need to dedicate greater attention to providing skills, work experience to those who are already in the workforce, both employed and unemployed. If we are to have a skills revolution, which is precisely what our country needs, we need to increase the pace as well as the scale of in-service training. We need to increase apprenticeships, internships, and work experience programs. From its formation, Cosatu has led the struggle for effective worker education that improves the capability and opportunities of workers while contributing to greater productivity. This is the task that business, government, and labor needs to prioritize. And as we do so, we must ensure that we are prepared for the profound changes that will alter the nature of work in the coming decades. Comrades, this conference also needs to deal with the changing patterns of work. The world of work is changing. At the ILO level, there's a commission that was set up to look at how work has been changing and how this process of work that is changing is dislodging so many working people in the world. This gives rise to both opportunities and challenges. Technological change will lead to the destruction of certain types of jobs and the creation of others. It will change the way work is organized, with a sharing economy leading to new arrangements between those who work and those who own work platforms. While technology will lead to reallocation of tasks between humans and machines, it also offers innovation and flexibility. Learning and work will become more closely intertwined over a lifetime. So this Congress needs to focus on this issue of work, because in the end, those who are most affected are the working people in our country. We will need to develop a social compact of the future of work to ensure that our response is guided by principles of social justice and equality. And this is where we are called upon to come up with working and workable proposals and solutions on how we address the world of work as it changes, as machines begin to replace human beings, and as technology, particularly the fourth industrial revolution, as it comes towards us. Cosatu and working organizations must have a response. And this is what this conference must also address itself to. One of the most immediate and difficult challenges that now confronts us is how the public service is structured. Many of your unions, many of Cosatu affiliates have organized workers in the public service. We now need, as a federation, to begin to look at the public service, how it is structured, but we also need to look at another challenge that we have, the significant growth of the public service wage bill. In the context of slow economic growth and weak revenue collection, this means that expenditure on other critical things like infrastructure has declined, as I said. We need to address this in a way that does not put the livelihoods of public sector workers at risk with regard to their jobs. And as we have said before, and as we have issued statements before, I need to repeat it here. Government has no plans whatsoever to retrench 30,000 public service workers. There are no such plans because this has been peddled around. I can say without any equivocation that there are no such plans to retrench 30,000 workers. The mass retrenchment of public servants is not under consideration. On the reconfiguration of the state that we announced during the State of the Nation address, what we sought to do is that we are going to commence work on how the state is configured and how best we can make the state machinery much more efficient, much more effective, so that it can provide a service to our people as a whole. So I need to make it clear that that work is underway, and that work is going to look at how we have a state that is more functional, a state that operates well, that is a well-oiled machine. And we will be looking, yes, at various government departments and how those can be reconfigured to be able to serve our people effectively going forward. We do need, comrades, as an alliance, to have a thoroughgoing discussion on how we deal with the public sector wage bill, and the broader management of our public finances. We have fortunately agreed that the alliance should have this type of discussion. And this is the new practice that we are engendering in our alliance. We are effectively saying, comrades, we must be able to find time to discuss, yes, even difficult issues, where we come up with solutions. And the starting point of the discussions will be, how can we best come up with integrated solutions? Solutions where we work together as an alliance to be able to address the challenges that we have. Over the last few years, we have experienced the devastating effect of state capture and corruption on economic growth and transformation. One of the most important outcomes of the ANC 54th Conference resolutions was a decision to eradicate corruption in all its manifestations and to support the establishment of a commission of inquiry into state capture. The commission, comrades, as we all know, has now started its work, and it is now looking at the full nature and extent of state capture. As a nation, we need to be clear about accountability and consequence management. This should happen without any doubt, and it should happen to ensure that those who are found to have stolen the public resources of our country that were meant for the poor must be prosecuted and the stolen funds must be returned. That should happen, comrades, without any equivocation. Because we cannot afford to have a situation where billions and billions of rands are siphoned and stolen. Billions that were meant to go and fund programs that are meant to improve the lives of our people, and they finally get into the pockets of just a few people. That cannot be, and that cannot be allowed, comrades. And as we do this, it should never be heard that we are pursuing certain people on a prejudicial basis. This should be done on a no favor, no prejudice basis, where we just want to have justice for the people of South Africa. That is all. Now, we salute Cosatu for its consistent stand on state capture and corruption, and urge the Federation not to relent in its campaign to rid our country and the corporate sector of all corrupt elements. We call on those workers in the public sector who have borne witness, who have sat by and witnessed as the resources of our country were being looted, to come forward and participate in the Zondo Commission. This commission offers the nation the opportunity to get to the root of corruption, and it will help us to root out corruption, comrades. Despite the current difficulties, the workers of our country have, in recent times, achieved a number of important victories. President Stumo Dlamini spoke about another key victory that the workers of our country have achieved. Thanks to the tireless and determined campaign that was waged by Cosatu over many years, we will soon implement the country's first national minimum wage. And this is a victory for Cosatu. And you may want to applaud yourself, because some you are revolutionaries to have had the country to embrace a national minimum wage for the very first time. You are revolutionaries, and you can applaud yourself for that, comrades. Even as you are weak in applauding yourself, ngiyanitshela ke ngoba kwangathi niyasaba, afraid to claim this victory. And I know that for a fact, because some in Cosatu were saying, no, I was deputy president then. They were saying, no, deputy president, makube uwe ozokhuluma ngayo. Tina, we won't talk about it. Because you were afraid. This is your victory. Claim it. Those who criticize you are criticizing you with nothing in hand. You have enabled, comrades, so that you are aware of what this is. You are going to be able to have 6.6 million workers in the Republic of South Africa to earn a wage that is not slavery. Some workers have been earning 500 rand a month, 1,000 rand a month, 2,000 rand a month. And those are workers that are not here. And in this regard, Cosatu has demonstrated that it is indeed the parliament of the workers of this country. And we thank you for that. So it is going to give me pleasure to sign this law, this bill into law. We are going to want to have an occasion as we sign this law because it is revolutionary. It is going to lift 6 million workers out of low wages. It is indeed a historic occasion and achievement, and we are going to want to celebrate it. There is another issue which is also important, which you as workers and as unions of Cosatu need to shine a torch on. That is the safety of workers in the workplace. We cannot have workplaces where workers go to die. We cannot have workplaces where workers end up in the mortuary. We must have safe working places, and it is Cosatu that must lead the charge. Recently, workers who are also working in government buildings have been killed, and Cosatu cannot allow this to happen. I urge you to take the issue of the safety of workers to be a serious matter. In government buildings, every government building must have a safety steward. And as full-time safety steward for that matter, somebody who looks after the safety of the people who work in every government building. Uma ningafuni ukwenza njalo, we will lead you in that process because it is a very important one. In the mines, they have safety stewards, and we want those safety stewards in all those working places to make sure that we look after the safety of working people. We continue, comrades, to take steps to empower the youth of our country. And recently we introduced free higher education for children of the poor and working class, which seeks to ensure that no young person will be denied higher education due to financial constraints. The intervention will make an important contribution to reducing inequality and breaking intergenerational cycle of poverty. We are proceeding with our plans, comrades, to introduce the National Health Insurance, which will make decent health care accessible, affordable to all South Africans. The NHI is here, comrades. It is going to be implemented, whether people like it or not. It is here to stay. Working conditions in the public health sector will improve with increased resources for personnel, infrastructure, equipment, medicines, and supply. As we re-engineer the primary health through the NHI, we will need more healthcare workers in order to make the workforce become more healthier and more productive. Government has set up a war room in the presidency that will oversee the implementation of the NHI and the improvement of health system. Comrades, we are seeking to stabilize a whole number of areas of South African life when it comes to safety and the rule of law. We are doing precisely that, and we are saying that it is the interest of the poor and the working class that we need to uphold the rule of law and maintain order and stability. This means, comrades, we should encourage and support peaceful protests, but we must do everything we can to prevent violent protests and the destruction of public property. There is no justification, comrades, for violent protests in a democratic society, and those should face the full might of the law. As social partners, we have reached important agreements on how to reduce the potential for violence in industrial action. But we need to remain vigilant as trade union leaders, as employers, as government and law enforcement agencies, and accept our collective and individual responsibilities to prevent violence during protests. As a progressive trade union movement, comrades, and as the leading representatives of workers in our country, Cosatu and its affiliates must promote the understanding that the right to protest cannot be elevated above the right to human dignity and human life. We cannot have Cosatu members, comrades, or any union who, when participating in industrial action, get involved in acts of pulling people out of operating hospital theaters, preventing the vital provision of services to the sick and the poor during strike action. And we call upon all workers to ensure that we respect each other's basic human rights and the rights of all who are involved in any endeavor. Comrades, the sights that we have seen at times when there has been industrial action by some of the members of our unions has not been pleasing to the eyes of all South Africans. And we cannot have a situation where when we protest, comrades, we put in danger the lives of even women who are in the process of giving birth. We cannot do so, and comrades, that should not be allowed. Ngiyacela, comrades, because none of us would ever want to have any one of our partners in the process of giving birth have that process interrupted, have them wheeled out of theater because we are involved in industrial action. We plead and we pray that what we have seen in the past should be something that we will never see again in our country. And I hope we pledge to that as members of Cosatu. Comrades, part of the theme of your conference is to deepen the Back to Basics campaign. As you deepen the Back to Basics campaign, it is essential that Cosatu, or this Congress, provides clear direction on how Cosatu will fulfill the important objective that it was set up for. That is the unity of the working class. It is also important in fulfillment of this objective that Cosatu ensures that it remains the preferred choice for union affiliation in a rapidly expanding and changing world of work. We must reaffirm the founding principle that Cosatu embraced right when it was formed, of one industry, one union, one country, one federation. That, comrades, needs to continue being subscribed to, because it is that that will bring maximum unity amongst organized workers. Congress must agree on how each of those that we have left, who have left the federation, and those who are not part of Cosatu, can be drawn back into the federation. Now, a few years ago, you had a number of workers leaving Cosatu. And comrades, the challenge that the ANC wants to throw back at you is you need to come up with clear plans and strategies and proposals on how we can bring those workers back into Cosatu, because they belong in Cosatu. I know this may not be a popular view among some of you, but we want to see one country, one federation. And we want those workers in Cosatu. Workers, comrades, in South Africa are strongest and best served when they are organized around or under one united federation. In this regard, it is worth recalling the words of Isitwalandwe Oliver Reginald Tambo following the formation of Cosatu, when he said, "The struggle to form one democratic trade union center has been hard and protracted. Many comrades have spent countless hours working to achieve the result that was consummated with the formation of Cosatu. We all acted in this manner, convinced of the need for the unity of the working class in our country, of the imperative to defend and to advance the interests of this class, and the necessity for the organized, united, and conscious workers to remain in the front ranks and as an integral part of the mass army of the revolution. The formation of Cosatu," O.R. Tambo continued, "has therefore added enormously to the strength of the democratic movement as a whole, and is a victory which this movement must defend at all costs," close quotes. Now, as the ANC, we are steadfast in our support for Cosatu as a progressive and revolutionary movement dedicated to defend and to advance the interests of the working class. The ANC will never go back on our support for Cosatu. That is sacrosanct, and that is permanent and forever. You can bank on that. It will always be there. But we must also stand behind Cosatu and urge this revolutionary federation to move with determination to organize workers of South Africa into the ranks of Cosatu unions, so that the membership of Cosatu unions can grow. As it is now, comrades, we can only speak of 26% of workers who are organized in South Africa. Many of the workers, 74% of working people in our country, remain unorganized. Upon Cosatu to consolidate their own unity and safeguard the unity of workers in one union, in one industry, but the unions in Cosatu must also remain united. We also, comrades, as we do all this, need to recognize that the alliance has not been functioning as it should. There is much work that needs to be done to build the alliance, as a fighting force for the poor and the working class, the crucial discussion around a reconfigured alliance is currently taking place in various corners, but we must bring all components of the alliance into this discussion. It will be important for this Congress to develop proposals on how the reconfigured alliance will function. We need to determine the nature and the extent of the participation of all alliance partners, yes, in decision-making, and how we manage the consultation process on strategic decisions that need to be taken. The ANC, the Alliance, and the Mass Democratic Movement as a whole will once again have to mobilize millions of our people to go and defend the gains of this hard-won democracy at the polls. We must prove to our people, comrades, in word and in deed, that the ANC remains the only organization capable of mobilizing the broad strata of our society for fundamental social transformation. At this time, we must focus all our efforts on the elections rather than expend our energy on divisions and pointless initiatives. Our people have always seen the ANC as their parliament, and they've also invested their hopes and aspirations in the African National Congress. And any attempt to weaken the ANC in whatever form, in whatever initiative, in whatever discussion that takes place, in whatever thing that we can do, upsets our people. We should always remember that as a parliament of our people look to the ANC to be a united organization, not to be an organization where the leadership is divided, where part of the leadership is pulling in one direction. Particularly after coming out of our conference, we must demonstrate that we are united. There should not be pulling in this way and in that direction. Our people want a united ANC. We need to be mindful that our people look at us and do not want a weak or divided ANC. We remain focused, comrades, on the task of renewal and unity, and always seek ways of forging unity and working together. And we continue to say, even those comrades who never loved one another, the moment that we are in now means that we must fall in love with each other and work together. That's what this moment requires. We must remember that united we stand and divided we fall, but we also fall into disarray. We should not spend time on counter-revolutionary machinations of weakening this African National Congress, where either in dark corners or wherever we come up with machinations of weakening the African National Congress. That must come to an end. Now, comrades, I'd like to say this now. If there is going to be any plot, it must be a plot to defeat poverty. That must be the type of plot that we want. It must be a plot to end poverty in our country. And if we are going to plan, let us plan the growth of our economy. Let us invest our energies in transforming the economy of our country and waste time playing marbles with the hopes of our people. That is what we should be doing. Now, comrades, now to achieve a decisive mandate for change, because, comrades, next year we are going to be facing one of the most challenging elections. Now, we cannot go to those elections divided. We cannot go to those elections with a divided leadership. We cannot go to those elections with a divided membership. And I say, if there are any moves to divide the membership of the ANC, that is counter-revolutionary. That is counter-revolutionary. Because our people are on a march. They are on a revolutionary march to go and win those elections. Just imagine we are going to war. We are going to a war of all wars. And then we start fighting amongst ourselves. And we take guns and start shooting each other. What type of an army are we? A united army is an army that will go to war united. Must go to war united as one army. So, comrades, this is a call for unity. And I'd like to say, those who will get into actions that disunite our people, divide our people, must be exposed. They must be exposed so that we know them. We cannot afford to do this. And then you'll have to ask yourself, those who want to divide the ANC, what agenda are they serving? What mandate are they serving? Because coming out of Nazareth, we only know one agenda, and that is the agenda of unity and renewal and jobs and transforming our economy. Manje, lababanye, if they are working to divide the ANC, tell us what your agenda is. We cannot accept that. Comrades, and this unity must not simply exist for the elections. The unity we must forge. And comrades, when we go to these elections, and I'd like this Congress to discuss this, how all of us are going to make a contribution for a decisive victory. Cosatu has to be in the forefront of the campaign to make sure that we win the 2019 elections. It must be at the forefront. We cannot have a Cosatu that is going to be a second-class player in these elections. We want Cosatu to be in the forefront and participate. So, comrades, we have to work together. We have to ensure that even as we finalize our manifesto, that manifesto must represent the aspirations and the hopes of working people in our country. We want you to participate and make sure that that manifesto that we're going to come up with, when we launch that manifesto, it must be a manifesto that all of us own. Comrades, we have embarked on a new path of recovery. We must take decisive steps to address our challenges, and part of our challenges is to make sure that we forge this unity. And let me say, comrades, coming out of Nazareth, yes, we were divided. And a number of our structures that you also participate in our various provinces, are finding unity. They are beginning to work together. They are holding each other's hands. They are finding consensus. And we cannot afford to have anyone drive a wedge in that move towards unity. Let us strengthen our structures. Comrades, that is why we need to work together. as an alliance, leading to recovery of our economy, the strengthening of our movement, the consolidation of our structures, and forging the unity that we need to have as we move to the 2019 elections, to victory, to a decisive victory that is going to make sure that indeed we do put an ANC-led government once again in the union buildings. Siyabasaba na. Niyabasaba na. Let's go and get them, comrades. Amandla! Amandla!
Amanda! Amanda! Thank you, comrade.